The great arena of Prime stretched for miles in every direction. Its walls were carved from black volcanic stone, and its seats held over 2 million spectators from across the galaxy. This was the heart of the Empire, where King the Mighty had crushed every challenger for 300 years. No species in the known universe had ever defeated him in single combat. King stood at 12 feet tall. His body was covered in thick purple scales that could stop plasma fire. His four arms ended in claws that could tear through starship hulls. His eyes glowed yellow with ancient power, and his reputation had made entire civilizations surrender without firing a single shot. He was not just a king. He was a living legend. The humans had arrived in the galaxy only 50 years ago. They were small, soft, and weak by galactic standards. Their bodies had no natural armor. They had no claws or venom. Most alien species considered them to be barely above animals. The Empire had conquered 17 human colony worlds in the past decade. Millions of humans now worked as slaves in mines and factories. But today, something unusual was happening. A human had demanded the right of combat challenge against King himself. Her name was Captain Maya. She stood at only 5 feet 8 inches tall. Her black hair was cut short, and her body showed the scars of countless battles. She had served in the human resistance for 20 years. She had watched her family die when they burned her home world. She had trained every single day since then for one purpose only. The crowd laughed when she walked into the arena. 2 million aliens pointed at the tiny human female and made jokes. Some threw food at her. Others placed bets on how many seconds she would survive. The odds against her were 1 million to 1. King sat on his throne at the edge of the arena. He did not even bother to stand up when Maya issued her challenge. His booming laugh echoed across the stadium. "What is this insect doing in my arena?" he asked his advisors. "Did someone lose their pet?" His generals laughed along with him. The crowd joined in. The noise was so loud that it shook the ground. Maya stood alone in the center of the arena. She did not flinch. She did not look away. She simply waited until the laughter died down. Then she spoke in a voice that was calm and clear. "King of the Empire, I challenge you to single combat under the ancient laws of your own people. If I win, you will free all human slaves and leave our worlds forever. If you win, I will die here today. Do you accept?" The laughter stopped. The ancient laws of combat challenge were sacred to the. No king had ever refused a direct challenge. It was a matter of honor that went back thousands of years. But still did not stand. He looked at Maya like she was a bug that had landed on his dinner plate. His yellow eyes showed nothing but contempt. "You want me to fight you," he said slowly. "I have killed champions from 100 worlds. I have torn apart warriors twice your size with my bare hands, and you think I should waste my time on something so small and weak?" Maya's expression did not change. "Are you refusing my challenge, King?" The crowd went silent. This was the moment of truth. If refused, he would break the sacred laws. His own people would see him as a coward. But if he accepted, he would have to actually fight this strange little creature. Made his decision. He waved one of his 4 hands dismissively. "I do not fight insects. My champion will deal with you instead. Bring out General." A door at the far end of the arena opened. General stepped out into the sunlight. He was almost as large as himself. His scales were darker, and his body was covered in battle scars. He had never lost a fight in 200 years of service. Maya watched him approach. She did not move. She did not reach for her weapon. She simply stood there and waited. "This is not what I asked for," she said quietly. "I challenged the king, not his servant." General roared with anger. "Servant, I will tear you apart for that insult, human." He charged at her with all 4 arms extended. His claws gleamed in the sunlight. The crowd screamed with excitement. This would be over in seconds. But Maya moved. She moved faster than any creature in that arena had ever seen a human move. Her body twisted sideways as claws passed through empty air. Her hand came up holding a thin blade that seemed to glow with inner light. Before could turn around, she had cut through the tendons behind both his left arms. The general screamed in pain and confusion. His left arms hung useless at his sides. Purple blood sprayed across the arena floor. He spun around to face her, but she was already behind him again. 2 more cuts. His right arms fell limp. The crowd had gone completely silent. No one could believe what they were seeing. General, the undefeated champion, was standing in the middle of the arena with all 4 arms disabled, and the tiny human female had not even broken a sweat. Maya stepped back and waited. She could have killed him easily, but that was not why she was here. "I challenge the king," she said again. Her voice carried across the silent arena. "Send out another champion if you want. Send out 10, send out 100. I will cut them all down, and then I will ask again. King, do you accept my challenge?" His yellow eyes had narrowed. For the first time in centuries, something cold moved through his chest. It was not fear exactly. He had forgotten what fear felt like, but it was something close to it. He stood up slowly from his throne. The crowd held its breath. The king was going to fight. "Very well, little human," he said as he walked down the steps toward the arena floor. "You want to die by my hands instead of my general's. I will grant your wish." He stepped over the fallen body of General without even looking down. His 4 arms spread wide, and his claws extended to their full length. Each claw was longer than Maya's entire forearm. "Any last words, insect?" Maya raised her glowing blade. "My people have a saying, King, never judge a book by its cover. Do you know what that means?" Laughed, "It means nothing. Your people are weak and foolish. That is why you are slaves." "No," Maya said softly. "It means that you have made a terrible mistake." She moved again, but this time she did not hold back. The next 30 seconds changed the history of the galaxy forever. Maya was not just a soldier. She was the product of 20 years of genetic enhancement, cybernetic augmentation, and combat training that no alien species knew existed. The human resistance had poured all of their resources into creating warriors who could match any opponent in the galaxy. They had kept it secret because they were waiting for exactly this moment. Her blade was not made of any metal that existed in nature. It was forged from collapsed star matter and could cut through anything in the universe. Her muscles had been rebuilt with synthetic fibers that were stronger than titanium. Her reflexes had been enhanced until she could see the world in slow motion. King never landed a single blow. Maya danced around him like a ghost. Her blade opened cuts across his arms, his chest, his legs. Purple blood poured from dozens of wounds. The king roared with rage and confusion. He had never faced anything like this. His claws passed through empty air again and again while the tiny human carved him apart piece by piece. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Their god-king was being humiliated by a creature they had dismissed as worthless. Everything they believed about the universe was falling apart before their eyes. After 30 seconds, King fell to his knees. His 4 arms hung useless at his sides. His yellow eyes were wide with something he had never felt before: true fear. Maya stood in front of him with her blade pressed against his throat. Purple blood dripped from its edge. She was not even breathing hard. "Do you yield, King?" The words echoed across the silent arena. 2 million aliens waited for their king's answer, but could not speak. His mind could not accept what was happening. He had been invincible for 300 years. How could this be real? "I asked you a question," Maya said calmly. "Do you yield?" Finally the king spoke. His voice was barely a whisper. How is this possible?" Maya leaned closer. "Because you never bothered to learn anything about us. You saw small bodies and soft skin. You saw no claws and no scales, and you decided that we were weak. You were wrong, King. Humans are not weak. We are adaptable. We survive. We overcome. and we never ever forgive those who hurt our people." She pressed the blade harder against his throat. A thin line of purple blood appeared. "Now I will ask you one more time. Do you yield?" King closed his eyes. His shoulders slumped. In front of 2 million of his subjects, the greatest warrior in the empire spoke the words that no one ever expected to hear. "I yield." The consequences of that moment rippled across the galaxy for generations. Under the ancient laws, King was forced to free all human slaves and withdraw from all human worlds. The empire, which had seemed invincible for thousands of years, lost 17 colony planets in a single day. Other alien species watched in amazement as the mighty empire crumbled. But that was only the beginning. News of the arena battle spread to every corner of the galaxy. Species that had been conquered began to rebel. They had seen that the empire could be defeated. They had seen that even the king himself could fall. Within 5 years, the empire had lost half of its territory. And the humans were no longer considered weak. Other species began to fear them. Some tried to form alliances. Others tried to destroy them before they became too powerful. But it was already too late. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. Captain Maya became a legend. Songs were sung about her battle across 1,000 worlds. Young humans grew up hearing her story and dreaming of following in her footsteps. She had shown them that size and strength were not everything. Intelligence, determination, and the will to survive could overcome any obstacle. As for King, he lived the rest of his long life in shame. He never fought again. He never recovered from the humiliation of being defeated by a creature he had dismissed as an insect. His empire continued to shrink, and his people lost faith in him. And every night, he remembered the words that Maya had spoken to him in the arena. He remembered the look in her eyes as she held her blade to his throat. He remembered the moment when everything he believed about the universe had been proven wrong. He had underestimated humanity. And that was his devastating consequence.